This lesson is going to cover volume of cones and spheres. And our EQ is how do you find the volume of a cone and a sphere? So our cone is found by taking the area of a circle, multiplying it by height, and then dividing it by 3. This is done by doing pi r squared times the height of the cone, all divided by 3. A few things to make sure that you realize is that the height of cones always goes perpendicular to the base. So make sure you are always looking at the right line for height. And we are using radius, we're not using diameter. It is divided by 3 because this is not a cylinder, this is a cone. In this problem, our cone has a radius of 1.5 and has a total height of 4 inches. Our volume is found by doing pi r squared times height divided by 3. Let's plug in these values and see what we get. Pi times 1.5 squared times 4, all divided by 3. Remember, we're typing this into our calculator and using a pi button because we want to get as accurate an answer as possible. I got 9.4 approximate inches cubed. Remember, we're putting the cubed on the inches because we're finding volume, we're not finding area. In this example, we are given a diameter, but we're not given a radius. So we need to take this diameter and we need to divide it in 2 so that we get a radius of 9. Now let's plug in our 9 into our volume formula, times it by 18, and then all divided by 3. We end up with an approximate volume, rounded, is 1,526.8 units cubed. And remember, whenever we're not given units, like a feet or an inches or centimeters, we put units cubed to hold the spot of that kind of measurement. In this example, we're not given the radius and we're also not given a diameter. Instead, this is the distance all the way around the circle. The distance around a circle is called the circumference. So this is actually our C, big C circumference. So if we want to find our radius to get the volume, we're going to have to do a little bit of working backwards. Circumference is found by doing pi times 2 times radius. I'm going to plug the 25.1 into the circumference spot, pi times 2 times r, and now let's divide both sides by pi and 2. Divide 25.1 by pi and 2. So let's type this into our calculators, and I get a radius of approximately 4. So now it's time to plug this into our volume formula. Pi times 4 squared times the height of 10 divided by 3. And our volume is approximately 167.6 feet cubed. Okay, I'm going to play a short clip for you that's going to introduce you to the idea of volume of spheres. So as you saw, there is a way to transition from cylinders into spheres when thinking about their volumes. The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. But we saw in the video that that the volume of a sphere is about 2/3 the volume of a cylinder. So I'm going to take 2/3 of that volume. So now our volume formula says pi equals 2/3 times pi r squared times height. But sphere heights are actually its diameter. So instead of putting h, because that's not really a word we use with spheres, we're going to put a d. So now my formula says 2/3 pi r squared times d. But wouldn't it be nice if you only had to plug in one variable? And since we know that d is equal to 2r, let's replace the d with a 2r. So now the volume formula says 2/3 times pi r squared times 2r. But we can simplify this into something much, much more simpler. We can take r squared times r and make it r cubed. We can also times 2 times 2. So what we get from 2 times 2 is 4. The pi is still there. R squared times r is r cubed, and it's all divided by 3. This is the formula that you will use and need to remember for volumes of spheres. 4 times pi times r cubed divided by 3. The most often mistake and confusion that students have when using this formula is they're so used to using pi r squared, which is the area of a circle, and it's used in a lot of other shapes, and also a lot of the volume formulas, where we're often mistakenly putting a r squared when we're doing the volume of a sphere, instead of doing r cubed. So do make sure that you're always doing r cubed when you're finding the volume of a sphere. So let's find the volume of this sphere. This 15 is not our radius. 15 is the diameter. So again, like in many of our problems, we're going to take our 15 and we're going to divide it by 2. And we get 7.5. This is our radius. We're going to use this in our formula. Volume of a sphere is equal to 4 times pi times the radius, 7.5, cubed divided by 3. I am going to have to round this. And make sure you do these things in the correct order so you don't mess something up. Okay, so we're going to do 7.5 and we're going to cube it. And then we're timesing that by 4 times pi. And then we're dividing it all by 3. I end up with approximately 1,767.1 kilometers cubed. So that's how you find the volume of cones and spheres. Don't forget to hit the submit button.